here to share another inspiring success story for students who dream of studying abroad on a fully funded scholarship. Today, we have with us Fanuel, an Erasmus Mundus scholar pursuing a master's in public health and disaster, a program jointly offered by top European universities. He comes from a medical background and he secured a fully funded scholarship in public health and disaster related field. His journey proves that with the right motivation, clarity, and preparation, you can make your dream come true. Fanuel, thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to hear about your experience and insights for future aspirants. How are you? How are you doing?
Hey, Maddie. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to share what I've been through, I guess.
Thank you so much for giving us your precious time. I know how busy you are, but trust me, it's going to help a lot of students who are looking for information to prepare themselves for Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So thank you once again. So Fanuel, I would not take much of your time. Let me start off by asking you these common and general questions. Could you please start by introducing yourself a little bit about your background and when you became interested for Erasmus Mundus scholarship, or particularly for this program, Public Health and Disaster? Could you please tell us a bit of your story?
Yeah, good. So I think I'll start. So basically, my path has been I graduated it was 5 years now. Mm-hmm. So you can say I'm at the crossroads of being an early graduate and a late graduate, because if you see most scholarships, they prefer early graduates up to 5 years. Mm-hmm. For some publicans, they prefer up to 2 years. Mm-hmm. Then beyond that, it's a time where they start requiring more experience from applicants. So I'm at the crossroads of these both journeys. So, like you said, my background is I'm a medical doctor. I'm from Ethiopia. I graduated from Addis Ababa University. So that's basically me. And after that, I was working in clinical care. I worked in the COVID pandemic. Then I worked in trauma care. Our country had a civil conflict. So this was basically my journey. When I became interested in this program is a good question. So because of my background, I am both interested in both clinical work and also in public health. So initially, when I started applying to opportunities abroad, it was more on the clinical aspect, in medical practice. Yep. But applying to the public health field, I started maybe a year and a half before I applied to the Erasmus Mundus program. Mm-hmm. So how I came across it is very interesting, actually, because most people know when it comes to Erasmus in public health, many people know the MPH, which is a general MPH that is provided in the Erasmus program, which has rotation in England, in France. Yeah. That was the common program most people know.
You mean the Europub Health Plus?
Yeah, the Europub Plus.
Yeah.
And I've never had friends who have heard of this program at all.
Okay, Public Health and Disaster.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Public Health and Disasters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how I came across it is actually funny because I searched AI.
Okay.
I searched AI which programs are actually available in Europe, and it was one of the lists that came. So It wasn't something I had guidance on, or I knew a person who took the masters, and I just clicked the link and then I went to the application. That's how I came across it. Yeah.
Wow. Really interesting, huh? Really interesting. Yeah. So that means AI is one of your most companion in this journey, right?
All right,
good. Yeah. And I would like to ask you a follow-up question. So you are in the clinical background, right? You're working in the clinical settings. So when did you feel okay, you want to switch your career into public health or in disaster? What motivated you to pursue into public health?
Yeah, so the main motivation was, like I said, I was initially trying to apply for the clinical opportunities, but the issue is most of the time when you try to apply abroad, visa becomes an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah, for clinical practice.
especially countries. Yeah,
Like us,
yep,
the
yep,
low income, low middle
yep.
income countries, that the visa is
Yes,
the issue. So it's
yes.
not always about your merits and getting an opportunity. So I was also interested in doing research. So that's how I started applying to public health. Because if you are committed and if you are like working consistently, getting scholarships in public health is relatively, how do I say? It's not easy, but it's a better path to securing education.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Good.
I answered your question.
Cool. Yes, yes, you did. Yeah. So I would straight ask you the most frequently asked questions about SOP. This is one of the crucial documents when you apply to any other universities or any other scholarship. This is one of the key documents that you have to submit to convince the reviewers that you are the right candidate for this program. So, what are the key elements from your perspective that we should include in our motivation letter or SOP? And what do you think how students they should connect their background, their previous skills or their academic experience in their SOP to convince the reviewers that they are the right candidate? What do you think? What are the crucial components of SOP?
Yeah, like you said, an SOP, or sometimes they phrase it as a personal statements, different
Yes.
programs,
Yeah.
is without a doubt the most important part of your application.
Yeah.
That is because what applicant, like the people who review applications, the most important thing they try to find out about you is your fit. It's the most important word is having a fit program. So the point is, how do you show that you fit into the program? So most people assume an SOP is about telling everything about yourself or telling yourself to the program, but actually it's about telling what the program wants to know about yourself.
Okay.
What they want to know. It's not about telling everything that you know or everything that you have done. So I have two approaches to SOPs.
Okay.
So the first approach I would say is always have a unique story at the beginning of your SOP. That unique story can relate to the program you're applying to. It should relate to the program. So I'll tell you an example for my SOP.
Yeah, please.
So coming up with a story is quite sometimes could be difficult, especially for people who are starting out applying. So how I did it was I came up with a story that we had in medical school. So we had witnessed a disaster that happened, and we had presented a seminar about that disaster. Okay.
Okay.
I used that story to show that I was interested in disasters starting from medical school. But be assured that that was not like even the most important part of my education or my story, but it was a story that I had.
Okay.
So I use that will captivate the reader to continue to read your story. Then once you have the story, you link it with your medical education. So how your medical education or like your background, there are people from different backgrounds, how it links to your studies. So for example, the disaster or the thing you witnessed, how did it become linked with studies? It could be like the public health course you took in your medical background. It could be like a volunteering thing you did when you were in your studies. Then you proceed to show how then once you have this once you have this motivation or once you have this passion for the field, then how did you practice after you graduated? How did you practice or how did you work to make sure that you were pursuing that passion of yours? So how do you show that? I mean, for me, fortunately, I was working in disaster.
Okay.
It was a coincidence. But for people who are not working in disaster, for example, they can volunteer with the Red Cross. Like the Red Cross has a network at every country.
Yep.
And they are very enthusiastic to have new members. So what they can do is just volunteer with the Red Cross. Then you can tell the story of how you have worked with first aid, how you have worked with your community, and how that aligns with disaster. Yeah.
Okay.
And the last part is also to show how then, once you have worked in this passion of yours, how did you then pursue it? How did you try to pursue it in the educational aspect?
Okay.
You did not get the master's, but how did you pursue it? And that's you show by taking online courses, okay?
Okay.
So you can mention in your motivation some of the online courses you took and how they actually helped you to, you know, to learn more about this program. And finally, you will try to mention about the school you are trying to apply to, the master's program.
Okay.
And for that aspect, you have to like be well educated, or you have to know the program you're applying to like thoroughly. You don't just read about like the about section of the program. You have to know what the program is about, what they are teaching. And from reading all that, you only get to write maybe 2 or 3 sentences into your motivation.
Yeah.
Then finally, you state your plan for your future, what you want to do after you graduate and stuff.
Wow, excellent. Yeah. I think you have summarized it really well. You said that first of all, it has to be start with a unique story, that how you want to relate yourself with the program that you're applying. And then it has to be related with your background, for example, academic or professional or volunteer experience that you have. If you don't have this kind of academic background, maybe you can also take online training courses or volunteer experiences that you can link with. And also you mentioned about the program that you're applying. They have to study it thoroughly so that they can mention few key points about the program so that the reviewers understand that they are not just applying by chance. They studied about the program and they have very good understanding of the program. And finally, they have to relate it with their future goal. Like what would be the ultimate outcome after completing this program that they are applying? Wow, excellent. I think if somebody actually want to make a good SOP, if they just want to write about all these points that you have mentioned, I think that would be a good SOP, and it will help them to attract the attention from the reviewers. Wow. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a very good point actually you have mentioned.
So
And yeah, please. Please. Yeah.
The other aspect of this is I said there are 2 approaches to write it. Yeah.
Okay.
If a person cannot come up with a story somehow at all, like if their background was not related at all with disaster or with health or with public health, then they have to come up with a problem.
Okay. Yeah, they want to address.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can have a problem and they can follow the same structure I have mentioned and how they want to address that problem, you know? And it's always good to make sure that you tailor your SOP to the program you're applying. And one unique aspect of this program that the applicants should know is they only allow you like 300 words or 250.
Yes, 250, 300, maximum, nowadays,
And it's really difficult to state all these things in 250 words.
Exactly, that's very much difficult, yeah.
So what that means is they have to start writing this SOP like a month, 2 months ahead, because they have to like tailor it, they have to cut and they have to get only few sentences from each part. So this is important to understand.
Yeah. You said it really right, because nowadays, I mean, earlier, what I have realized in some programs, they didn't have any limitation of words. But nowadays, most of the program, they have put this limitation like 250 or maximum 300 words. So this is very tricky because at the same time, you have to summarize everything And also you have to maintain the word limitation as well. This is really tricky to exclude the information that you have. Excellent. And I was thinking, for your case, as you have mentioned, that if they don't have like direct work experience or they didn't work in that field, so is there any other things that you have mentioned that if they, for example, come up with a problem they want to address, they can talk about it, right? And is there any other way or any other suggestions that we would advise? Do you have any other suggestions?
For people without experience, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I think most applicants should understand about applying to scholarships is it's not about a single aspect of your application that matters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you may not have a good GPA,
Yeah.
but if you had like really good recommendation, like if you had a recommendation from a person working in an international space, or it could be like from a country, national space,
Mm-hmm.
then your CGPA, like it's almost like irrelevant.
Mm.
Of course, it matters because it will at least have like 30% of the application's value, but it's all about creating an overall like well-tailored application. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have experience, go volunteer. Okay. It's
Mm.
always be smart because volunteering is free. You
Yep.
only need your dedication. You only need your time.
Mm.
And most people like they feel like volunteering because it does not pay. They don't see the value of it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
You can go volunteer. You have the Red Cross. You have regional volunteer opportunities. Now you have online opportunities. Even there is websites for the UN volunteering. There are multiple volunteering opportunities if people like look for them.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically, if you saw the program application page of this Erasmus Mundus program,
Mm-hmm.
it's specifically status. If you don't have an experience,
Mm-hmm.
volunteering experience is also counted as an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be like an experience, but also, yeah.
That's true. I mean, I see nowadays, a lot of healthcare professional, for example, I see a lot of them, they are very much interested into public health, so from the clinical background, sometimes they struggle to tell their story. They sometimes feel like, oh my God, I don't have any public health experience. I'm not sure how to relate that or blah, blah, blah. I think you said it really right. Even they can start with volunteering and they can also mention it in their SOP that this is how I became motivated. This is how I became passionate about this public health or in disaster program. And now I want to learn more skills about it. That's why I want to get admitted in this program. Excellent. Yeah.
One more thing though,
Yeah, please.
I have to mention like for public health scholarships,
Yep.
the length of years that you have graduated or the length from the year you have graduated determines the level of experience they require from you. Okay.
Okay.
So if you, like I mentioned when we began this interview,
Mhm.
the first 2 years they don't expect like much experience from you.
Mhm.
But as the years progress, they expect you to have experience, not because they want you to work on public health, but they want to see your passion for the field. Okay.
Mhm.
You have to show that you have passion. So if you cannot show the passion with work experience, you have to show it with training,
Mhm.
the training experiences, like
Mhm.
the online trainings you have taken, the people you have engaged with, your recommendations. These are important to show your passion for the field.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to see. Yeah.
One interesting point, Fanuel, you have mentioned about ChatGPT that you came across about public health and disaster program that you are currently studying under full funded scholarship. So nowadays, I mean, almost everybody is using AI. So would you recommend to write an SOP by ChatGPT? What is your understanding about it, or what is your suggestions?
Uh, of course, so there are two aspects to this.
Yeah.
You do not use ChatGPT to write the SOP.
Okay.
because it is supposed to be like personal. But you can use ChatGPT to first even let me go back. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Even a good example of this is when you look at research papers, you are not allowed to use AI. But now they tell you how you can use AI. You can use AI to do a review of something, to search for something. So for SOPs, it's the same thing. You can use it. For example, you can tell AI what you have done, and you can ask it what is relevant from what I have done to this program. It will tell you what is relevant. You can take those points and you can start writing your SOPs. You can use AI to come up with a story. Okay. Like what I mean is, if you tell it what you have done, it can tell you a story from what you have done.
Okay.
It can help you shape the flow of your statement of purpose.
Okay.
How to connect with your studies, how to connect with your experience. But that does not mean you use it to write your SOPs. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, be smart about how you use ChatGPT, because all of them have like a way to screen AI written content. So all that work will be like pointless at the end of the day. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, AI, if I ask AI to write a story, it would be very much generic and it will have nothing about my personal life, my personal story, and also it will not relate with my previous experience, previous background. But I think, I mean, as you have mentioned, the most important thing is that I have to write my story myself first. I have to draft the SOP. And then if I need any help, for example, with the proofreading, or for example, with the wording, with the structure, and also, since we have word limitations, sometimes it's really hard to manage the whole part of your story in these limited word. Maybe you can take help from ChatGPT or AI to structure your story within this word limit. Maybe that would be helpful for you, so that you can take that advantage of using AI. Yeah, excellent. All right, so after applying, the next stage is the interview, the selection criteria or the evaluation criteria. So, I mean, what was your reaction when you got that email that, okay, you have been selected for the next stage? And if you could tell us a bit of your experience, how did you face the interview and how was your overall experience with the interview selection criteria, please?
Okay. So my experience with the interview. So when I first got the email that I was selected for the interview, honestly, I did not take much of it.
Okay.
You know why? Because when you read the program application page, it says the interview is just a screening phase. It's like once you have all the documents prepared and they see that everything is completely, submitted, it's almost like a screening process. The interview. That's what it says on the program.
Okay.
But after I came here, I found out actually the interview was a big deal. It is like it means like at least they are considering you to be a good, fit for the program, for a good candidate.
Yes.
Yeah. I did not take much of it, and maybe that was important to make me a bit relaxed for the interview,
Okay. Okay, somehow it went well. And do you remember, like, how was the interview process, or what kind of questions, or like how was the overall environment? Like, what are the things that they wanted to learn or wanted to know from you?
Yeah, so I would say, like, when you apply to the scholarships for all applicants, it should not be like a trying, like it should be a full-time job when you apply to a scholarship, because you're at the end of the day, you're still competing with many people,
Yeah.
So it should be a full-time job. It's not something like you do just for trying. So I'm mentioning this because the way I prepared for the interview, even though I thought it was not such a big deal, was like really thorough. So what I did was, first is I prepared for every possible scenario that they could ask me. I prepared for every aspect of my CV, everything I have mentioned in my SOP. And when I say prepare is, I read, like, I I used AI to find the most relevant books for the course for disasters.
Mm-hmm.
So I found three books. I summarized the books.
Mm-hmm.
I changed them into like this what's it, the podcast, with
Okay.
Notebook LM,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Google.
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. They just read it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that because I was working at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to this audio when I was going from home to work, from home maybe to the library. I was reading everything. So by the time the interview, 2 days before the interview, I knew every aspect of like the
Okay.
disaster formula, everything. So
Okay.
I knew how to relate it to what I have done, like to my CV, to what I have written in my SOP.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was like really prepared. Whatever they asked me, I was prepared. And
Okay.
once it was time for the interview, which was around like 15 minutes,
Okay.
they asked the things I was already prepared on. They asked regarding research.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me regarding to tell them a problem that came up when I was working. So
Yep.
I had already like a scenario in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't something I was coming up on the spot. It was something I was already prepared on. That's what I'm trying to, to tell
Okay.
the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got it. I mean, if I want to sum up, so what you are saying that you actually prepared every way possible to face the interview because you were not just okay, I have done my job, I have mentioned everything in my CV, in my SOP, so now they know who I am. No,
Yeah.
but you
No.
have to be ready to to defend yourself every way possible according to the things that you've mentioned in your CV, in your SOP, or in your motivation letter, right? You have to
Yeah.
prove yourself with all the things that you've mentioned in this interview. Wow, excellent. And
Also,
yeah, please.
before you go on, uh, there's something like I want to mention. It's always good to have one or two questions for them. Also, this is like
Okay.
an important trick I learned from many people who have applied to this scholarship.
Mm.
Yeah, always have two questions. For example, you can ask them regarding what your research is going to be,
Okay.
or you can ask them regarding something because that will show them that you have searched the program and you know what you are applying to. It's not just a training; it's like something you
Yes.
want to. That's a trick. Yeah.
Excellent. And Fanuel, I would also want to add one little point that was in my interview actually. Almost at the end of the interview, they asked me that if I have any plan for my thesis. They asked me these questions. Okay, so at the last semester of your master's program, you have a thesis. So do you have anything in mind? Like what would you want to do in your thesis? I mean, so literally what I did, I literally shared my idea actually. I had one thing in my mind. I'm not sure if I will do it as my thesis, but at that time, I made at my kind of, I linked it with my thesis that, okay, this is my plan. I have faced this problem in my working environment. So this is what I'm thinking. Maybe in my master's thesis, I will try to I would try to find this gap in my thesis. This is how I explained. I answered that questions.
It's funny because for you, you're asked that question, but
Yeah.
for me, I asked them that question because it
Okay.
was one of the two questions I had prepared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I asked
Okay.
them because I already had some thesis ideas in mind. I asked them,
Mhm.
will I be able to do this? I want to do this, blah, blah. So
Wow.
maybe that's why they didn't ask me.
Wow, this is very much proactive, I would say. I think the way you say it, this is very good tip. You should always have kind of questions to ask them, which proves that you're really like
Yeah,
motivated, you're really determined, and you're
yeah,
really serious about the program. That's very
yeah,
much true.
yeah. They want to
Wow,
know.
excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with the interview process. My next question, Fanuel, I mean, this is really brilliant that you were mentioning about how you take the leverage of AI, because I see throughout your preparation, you used AI in a very positive way, right? For
Yeah,
example, from starting from finding the program, like preparing at every stage, how you use AI. This is brilliant, actually. I think this is the whole purpose of AI, actually, to guide us, to support us with all the information that we need to make our, to, because finding information, it used to take a lot of time, to consume a lot
yeah,
of time. But with the help of AI, you can do it like within a click, which is really important. And I really appreciated that how you are leveraging AI in your real life, and you're doing things pretty much smoothly with the help of AI. So what I was thinking to ask you, IELTS is one of the mandatory requirements for the program, and many students struggle actually to get a proper score in IELTS. So, and nowadays this is pretty much like set by most of the program that you have to have at least C1 proficiency in IELTS.
yes.
So, what would be your suggestions, like who are preparing themselves for IELTS? I'm pretty sure that you have also taken either IELTS or TOEFL, one of the like required English proficiency test. So, do you have any suggestions or any tip for the students who are preparing themselves for IELTS from your experience?
Yeah, this is a good question, actually, Mehdi.
Yeah.
I actually took IELTS 2 times.
Hmm.
One was because I took it for my clinical, applications.
Hmm.
The other one, I took it again because it was nearly expiring and also to improve my scores a bit.
Hmm.
So I think for the applicants, the most important thing to know about IELTS is, so IELTS are the 4 components: the reading, the writing, the listening. You
Yeah.
know, so from all those,
Speaking.
the hardest part is writing,
Yes, it is academic writing. Yeah.
academic writing.
Yep.
It's without a doubt. Even the way I think they structure the IELTS is different for the writing, because for me, both times I took the IELTS, and even for many of my friends,
Hmm.
I score very high on the others. Like I get an 8, I
Yep.
get an 8.5, a
Yep.
7.5.
Yep.
Writing is always below a 7,
That's
or
true.
for other friends of mine, below a 6.
Hmm.
So you can tell the way they structure the writing is the hardest part of the IELTS.
Yeah.
So I prepared differently for all 4 aspects of the IELTS.
Hmm.
So I will start with the speaking.
Hmm.
For the speaking, this is for me the easiest part of the IELTS,
Hmm.
because it's already determined by the things you already have. Like you cannot be a good speaker by just by studying.
Yeah.
Speaking takes like years of like speaking the language.
Yep. Practice.
So,
Yep.
so it's all about practice.
Yep.
So for speaking, for me it was the easiest part because I only took like a day or 2 days to prepare for speaking.
Hmm.
And what you do for speaking is you go to Google and you type in the month you're taking your IELTS. You
Hmm.
type in that month and
Hmm.
write speaking for the month of, let's say, November, for the month of November speaking.
Hmm.
And the first like link that will come, it will have speaking questions for that month.
Okay.
And usually it's not guaranteed, but your test is highly likely to have the questions that come from.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's
I
very
didn't know
likely.
that. Wow.
It's not mandatory always, but it's
Okay.
very likely.
Okay. Good
That
to
month or
know.
the
It's a
previous month.
new information. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it will have like 3 parts. All of the IELTS, the speaking, the listening, all of them, they have 3 parts.
Yes.
So it will have 3 parts on that website, and you have to practice all those questions. For all the 3 parts, they have like
Hmm.
20, 30 questions. You have
Hmm.
to practice. You
Hmm.
have to sit by yourself and practice all of them. The question by question, question by question, you have to speak, you have to practice, so that when the day comes, even if they don't ask you those questions,
Hmm.
the questions they are going to ask you are going to be related to those questions.
Okay.
For example, as you know, like the first part is about you, about your
It's like
background.
general questions,
General.
personal questions,
Yeah, so it's very likely, even if they don't ask you those questions, they will be related to them.
Okay.
Another tip is if you have a friend, practice with your friend for the speaking.
Okay.
For me, I did it by myself. I just was speaking by myself like a crazy person in our home.
Okay.
So that was for speaking. For the next part, for the reading, you use I don't know, you know Cambridge.
Yep, Cambridge.
Yeah. So on Telegram, you have many Cambridge like editions. Cambridge 17, 18, 16. You go, you download those, and they will give you the tasks for the reading. You just practice. And the reading is also, I would say, like the second easiest, or maybe even the easiest from all for the parts. You just practice, you read, you write, you read, you practice. It's simple. For the listening, again, there are Telegram groups which have these listening recordings. Also Cambridge and others. Just go into Telegram and you just search IELTS speaking, listening. So you practice again, all the three parts, you sit down and you practice. I think the listening one is very tricky because the tricky part is once you miss a question, you're done for. Like,
yep.
You will panic and you will think that you have missed the part you're supposed to answer.
Exactly. And then you will miss the sequence as well. And then you miss the others. Yeah. This is really tricky. Yeah.
So I will say for the applicants to take their time with listening, because that one is, I think, the one that takes the most practice, because you don't want to panic when it's time to take the exam. So practice with what the materials I've recommended. And finally, you have the writing, which is the hardest part. So like the other part, this one has two parts, unlike the other parts. There is writing, the first one, and the second one. So in the first part, as you know, you are asked about charts, pie charts, bar charts to describe something. And the second part is writing an essay. So for the writing, I mean, personally, I would say at least if they have time to prepare at least for a month.
Okay.
To get a good score because they require a lot with regards to writing. So what materials you use is one is you start with Cambridge, which is available on Telegram. The second one you go with, so there are applications you can find on Android. These are IELTS writing applications, and what they do is they will give you a bunch of charts, a bunch of pie charts, and they ask you to describe them. And once you're done, they will give you another description of the charts, and you compare that. Then you start practicing every day. It takes time. Practice every day to how to write, how to compare, how to describe things every day. That's how you do that. And finally, once you have done all this, I would say for like 3-4 days, there are materials that are provided by the British Council, which you go online and you take the tests. There are demo tests.
Even the mock test.
The mock test.
Yeah.
You do the mock tests. So this is, I think, the approach to prepare for IELTS. If I covered most of it, I think.
I think you've covered it real well. And as you mentioned that the writing is the most trickiest part. So I think it takes a lot of time. As you mentioned that they have to prepare themselves at least 4 months or like few months ahead so that they have enough time to go through the process, because it needs time to build a habit of writing, and it doesn't come overnight. It's not like, okay, tomorrow morning you wake up and you see, okay, I have very good academic writing. No, it doesn't happen like that. So you need to build that habit of writing. So then slowly, after practicing, like couple of months based on your like previous understanding, I think, as you mentioned, it really needs time. So yeah, I think who are preparing themselves, they have to practice with time, with patience, and slowly they can beat the
Yeah.
IELTS test.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, the trick about the writing is it's not only about writing good, by the way. It's about not making spelling mistakes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Spelling. Yeah, spelling mistakes and grammatical error. I mean, there are like some criterias, huh? So
Yeah.
they call it like grammatical range and accuracy and
Yeah.
cohesions and coherence, huh? And all those things are really important. Even though you are writing very much grammatically correct, but if the writing structures is not coherent or cohesive with the questions that you are answering, you will also lose mark.
Yeah.
Fanuel, I mean, we are almost very much close to the end of the program. So before closing, I would just like to ask you, how has your experience been so far with Erasmus Mundus scholarship, and who are like preparing themselves for the scholarship? What is your overall experience? What are the pros and cons of the scholarship? Do you motivate or do you want to influence them to apply, or how has been so far your experience? If you could share a little bit.
Yeah. I think I'll say for applicants, before applying to anything scholarship related, always know the reason why you're applying. Okay.
Okay.
Are you applying because you want to learn public health? Are you applying because you want to study abroad? Or are you applying for other reasons? They have to know the reason why they're
Very
applying.
important.
Don't do
Very
it just
important.
because
Yeah.
everyone is doing it. Because once you can start practicing or learning wherever it is, then you have to know what you are going to do. Okay?
With
So that's
that,
why
yes.
they have to know why they are doing it. And I think for this program, I would encourage people to apply because it's a really prestigious program. I'm not gonna lie. It's very prestigious, and the program is also a specialization in public health. It's not just simply public health, you know. When you come here, you're learning public health, and then you're learning about disasters. It's a specialized field of public health.
Yes.
So without a doubt, it's a very good use of your time and resources, because you don't worry about anything but your studies. It's a fully funded program. And the places that are conducting the scholarship as well, they are like good places, you know. The beginning of the program, which is in Spain, is a very, adaptable place compared to even other European countries. So I would say I would encourage people to apply. Regarding the experience, of course, for the most part, it's a good experience. It will be a good experience if you know why you are doing the program. And if you don't know why you are doing the program, it may not be as such, because you're always thinking 2 steps ahead. The other thing is, in addition to the program, I think the thing that will be difficult, or maybe something they may not anticipate, is the settling in part will be the most important part for most people. Because settling into a new place is always going to have its challenge, especially if the applicants were living with their families. You have to learn cooking. You have to learn to manage yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, as you were saying, that the unique part of this Erasmus Mundus scholarship is that the mobility, right? Because every semester you move to a different place from your previous place. So you have to be very much adaptive. You have to be very much like friendly, or I don't know. I mean, if you cannot cope up with the new situation, new environment, it's a bit challenging, I would say, because with the new culture, new environment, new language, and I mean, everything is changed, huh? So if you cannot cope up with the fast-paced environment, sometimes it can be a bit nerve-wracking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be
I
also a
would,
bit challenging. Yeah.
I would say most people can easily manage the education aspect of it
Yeah.
because, yeah, if you got to this stage,
Mhm.
it means you are somehow, qualified or somehow, have the merits to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe the only difficult part might be those things you mentioned,
Yeah.
adapting, settling to a new place. Those things might be the difficult parts. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Fanuel, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Your story is really powerful reminder that passion, purpose, and persistence can open doors if you really want to get something done. Uh, So, Fanuel, before closing, do you have any last thing to share for our students who are thinking of applying for Erasmus Mundus scholarship? Any last things to say? I know you have really phrased it really well for them. So, if there is anything that you want to say.
Yeah. I think the last thing I will say is always understand there is no shortcut to scholarships. Okay.
Very important.
Anything
Very
in life,
important.
always
Yeah.
be persistent. If you don't make it this year, try the next year because most of us who have made it, to the scholarship, our
Yes.
journey has been like full of, like failure, learning and
True. True.
reapplying.
True.
So always don't be discouraged. Keep on trying, but keep on building yourselves professionally. Once you build yourself, nothing is going to, influence you because you'll have value to the program. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you really framed it really well, and I also share this with like all my students, all my friends, that applying for a fully funded scholarship is not just a one-time thing. You know, it's a kind of process. It's a journey. So you have to be persistent. You have to apply continuously. So then you will get it. Otherwise, if you just think, okay, I will apply once and I will get it at first time, I think it doesn't happen like that. You have to have that passion. So thank you so much, Fanuel, and to all our viewers and students who are watching. Remember that if you have the right courage, right motivation, and if you have the persistency in your work that you are doing, definitely there are options, there are opportunities that one day you will make your dream come true. Opportunities like Erasmus Mundus scholarship or any other fully funded scholarship. It's possible. It's not like a dream that you can never make true. It's possible. And finally, on behalf of the International Study Council, we wish Fanuel continued success and hope your experiences, like many of you, to take the first step toward the global education dream. And thank you once again, Fanuel, for joining us. And hope you make your all wishes come true. And after completing this program, you will be able to do whatever you wish to do in your life.
Thank you, Mehdi. And also for your program, it's very important because guidance is very important, especially for early graduates to apply to these things. Yeah, so it's good. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Fanuel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a good day. Yeah.
good.
Bye. Take care.